In a decisive step to combat the rising tide of digital deception, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia Janine Ferris-Pirro unveiled the Scam Center Strike Force on November 12 to a packed press conference in the Patrick Henry Building in Washington, D.C. This groundbreaking interagency task force, the first of its kind dedicated exclusively to Southeast Asian scam operations, in a joint operation between Pirro's office, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the U.S. Secret Service. Pirro deemed the initiative as a direct assault on Chinese organized crime syndicates that are exploiting cryptocurrency to suck Americans dry of their hard-earned savings. These aren't just scams, they're calculated invasions of trust, turning our digital dreams into nightmares, Pirro declared. The heart of this crisis lies in notorious pig-butchering schemes, where fraudsters masquerading as romantic interests or savvy investment advisors groom victims over weeks or months through social media and dating apps. The world has gotten real scary, guys. Tim and I met on a dating site about 15 years ago, but I was very aware back then of romance scams and could pick them out pretty easily. The first clue is that their English is bad. In this case, once they have your trust, the scammers lure their targets into fake cryptocurrency platforms, promising astronomical returns that never happen. These operations, often run from fortified scam compounds in Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar, have ballooned into a multi-billion-dollar underworld economy. You will hear these countries come up again for human and organ trafficking, so please be careful. Pirro cited FBI estimates placing 2024 losses crypto scams at a staggering $9 billion for Americans alone, though she warned the true figure could be far higher due to underreporting. These are crime syndicates, and they aren't even operating in the shadows anymore. They're building empires on the broken backs of everyday people who have worked and saved their entire lives. Pirro underscored how the anonymity of blockchain technology has allowed these thieves to reach much further undetected. The main target in these crypto scams are American senior citizens, particularly those who were navigating isolation in the post-pandemic era. Can you imagine? As if the elderly didn't go through enough during the bogus pandemic. Pirro painted a heartbreaking picture with victims like Margaret Thompson, a 72-year-old widow from rural Ohio, who lost her $250,000 retirement nest egg after a scammer posing as a charming widower convinced her to invest in a bogus crypto fund. Many of these victims are lonely, looking for anyone to communicate with them. Stories like Margaret's echo across the country with retirees, veterans, and empty nesters who are hoping for a financial lifeline, only to face financial ruin. It's so sad, guys, and I know that some of you have been ripped off. The emotional betrayal makes the monetary loss even worse, often causing victims to spiral into depression, shame, and even suicidal ideation. Pirro said that her office has fielded calls from over 500 similar cases in the past year, with average losses exceeding $100,000 per person, and they disproportionately affect seniors over 65. She went on to detail the syndicate's ruthless tactics, including human trafficking to staff their scam factories. Young people from across Asia are lured with job promises, only to be imprisoned and coerced into running the cons under threat of violence. So these centers aren't just call centers. They're trafficking prisons disguised as profit machines based on intelligence from international partners. The fraudsters use sophisticated tools like AI-generated deepfakes and scripts to scale their operations, targeting not just the elderly, but also middle-aged professionals enticed by insider crypto tips. One chilling example Pirro referenced was the case of Robert Klein, a 58-year-old engineer from Texas, who transferred $1.2 million into Bitcoin after a financial advisor on LinkedIn convinced him of a surefire arbitrage scheme. Klein's story illustrates how these crimes erode not just wealth but faith in technology itself. Joining Pirro at the podium was FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate, who brought the Bureau's cyber expertise into the task force. Abate described the FBI's role in tracing illicit crypto flows through blockchain analytics. Some of you may remember that I did a video a while back on how quantum entanglement via quantum key distribution will be used in the future to secure banking transactions. The strike force's mandate is to prosecute foreign ringleaders under U.S. jurisdiction. Abate said that we've already disrupted 15 scam networks this year, freezing $150 million in assets. But these syndicates adapt fast, and we need this unified front to stay ahead of their game. He credited interagency data sharing for the recent busts in Myanmar, and warned of emerging trends, like scammers embedding malware in crypto wallets to steal victim credentials. Abate also urged the public to report suspicious activity via the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, or IC3. He also underscored the global scope of the problem and announced collaborations with Interpol and Southeast Asian authorities to raid compounds, though jurisdictional hurdles remain a persistent issue. Representing the U.S. Secret Service, Assistant Director Michael LaRosa focused on the financial forensics at the core of the operation. As the lead agency for financial crimes, the Secret Service has pioneered tools to follow the money in crypto heists, recovering funds scattered across mixers and exchanges. We've seized $80 million just this week from a Laos-based syndicate, pushing our total recoveries under Pirro's leadership to over $480 million, LaRosa announced to Applause. He detailed how the strike force will target U.S.-based enablers, such as mule accounts and sham exchanges, while partnering with blockchain firms like Chainalysis for real-time tracing. LaRosa also highlighted victim restitution efforts, with plans to distribute recovered assets through a dedicated fund, offering a glimmer of hope to those like Margaret and Robert. From the Department of Justice's Criminal Division, Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Keller emphasized the legal firepower behind the initiative. This strike force leverages our authority to indict overseas defendants and forfeit international assets, turning the tables on these borderless criminals, Keller explained. He revealed that indictments against 12 high-level operators are imminent, based on evidence from undercover buys and seized servers. Keller stressed the importance of public-private alliances, announcing Meta's commitment to enhance platform algorithms for detecting grooming patterns and sharing user data with investigators. Tech companies aren't bystanders, they're gatekeepers, he said, calling on others like Google and Telegram to join the fray. The Treasury Department's involvement added an economic chokehold to the announcement, with Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, Brian Nelson, unveiling parallel sanctions against 20 entities linked to the scam ecosystem. These designations freeze U.S. assets and bar American dealings, starving the syndicates of oxygen, Nelson declared, targeting wallets, exchanges, and even luxury real estate holdings in Dubai, used to launder proceeds. He estimated the sanctions could disrupt up to $2 billion in annual flows, complementing the strike force's enforcement arm. Nelson's comments resonated with Pirro's vision of a whole-of-government response, blending diplomacy with disruption to pressure host countries like Cambodia to shutter the centers. As the conference drew to a close, Pirro turned her gaze to the broader horizon, aligning the effort with President Donald Trump's ambition to cement the U.S. as the world's premier crypto hub. Innovation thrives in security. There are no tricks that can be part of cryptocurrency when we protect it right, she asserted, quoting Trump's recent executive order on digital assets. This isn't just about clawing back dollars, it's about reclaiming America's edge in the digital economy, ensuring that blockchain's promise of decentralization doesn't devolve into a playground for predators. With early wins like the $80 million seizure, the strike force is an enforcement shift, from reactive policing to proactive hunting of the predators themselves. Looking ahead, the implications ripple far beyond the Beltway. Victim support groups, including AARP representatives who attended the event, hailed the announcement as a long-overdue lifeline, pledging to amplify awareness campaigns in senior centers nationwide. International watchdogs across the world have expressed interest in mirroring the model, potentially creating a global anti-scam alliance to stop this thievery. There are challenges which I would assume have been addressed, such as encrypted communications, jurisdictional tangles, and the syndicated criminals' switch to AI-driven scams, which all demand relentless vigilance. So just like computer hacking, this is an ongoing and ever-evolving crime. As U.S. Attorney Pirro wrapped up the news conference, she issued a clear call to all Americans. Verify before you invest, report without shame, and trust in the system's renewed resolve. Contact your local Secret Service office first, but if you don't have one or have problems, you can call the D.C. office. In the war on crypto crime, the Scam Center Strike Force isn't just a unit. It's hope of recuperating losses and mitigating vulnerability and risk.